Hi, I'm MJ from Lioness Publication, and welcome to the 10th House Briefing. This is where we recap a lot of what we spoke about during this previous week and try to sort of pull back from the charts and sort of get a better idea of how this fits into the global economic power struggles that are going on. So the first one I want to talk about is Nicolas Maduro. Now, Trump actually bombed a small boat that they were saying was carrying drugs and it was cartel. But did they offer any evidence? No. There was a minor thing where Maduro sent up jets. I don't know if they actually confronted, the United States jets or not. But remember, this is off the coast of Venezuela, so this is something you'd expect a leader to do. I was worried about Venezuela being a flashpoint, and it still might become one. But what I'm seeing here is that in his progression, we had on 7-1, actually Mars conjuncting Mars. So he does have a tendency now to sort of make rash decisions, not very subtle about things. But overall, he's just trying to maintain his position from what I'm seeing. So I don't see him really instigating anything. What I'm seeing is him defending. He may do some covert type operations, but again, I'm seeing more defensive rather than offensive type movements. Versus it's Trump that's making the offensive movements, and it may be to try and get a reaction from Maduro. So it's still something to watch. But I'm not expecting that that's going to blow up into something huge. I'm thinking more, a few skirmishes here and there. Now, when I look at the country chart, what I am getting is that in the solar arc, I was seeing that Eris is stunning to conjunct Venus. And this, in effect, could indicate that the people of the country are going to start to experience a lot of disruption, which could be the case. So it could be that Trump decides to put some type of embargo on the country, and that would change the whole equation. Now, we also have Pluto in conjunct Mars for the country, and this is going to be next year, and that's around the end of April. Now, this is military tension, ingression, but it's typically more indirect. Inconjunct doesn't last that long, so it could be just like a quick operation in and out. So yes, they do have the capability to respond, but I think it's more response rather than being offensive. So we're going to still be watching them, but in general, I'm not seeing that it's going to blow up. India, as we noted, last weekend was a summit that China held, and it had India come a few days before the summit, and China was talking to India, which is not something that's happened for, a few years. In addition, China talked to both Russia and North Korea, so that's significant. It was rather upsetting to Trump. He made the comment that they were, they were colluding behind his back, in effect. For India, the tariffs are going to hit India pretty bad. But what I'm seeing in the solar arc is they were actually going to be able to get sort of past that by leveraging their technology. So they might have to change a lot of the ways, the foundational structure of their country. And I think that what Trump is doing to them will cause that to happen. So they're going to change to leverage more, to leverage being able to disrupt their country with innovation. Now, what else do I see in this? Not much else. I'm not seeing anything where they're trying to come back with a show of strength with everything. I think they're going to try to deal with this tariff thing and saying we're going to deal with the problem that's ahead of us. We're not going to create any other problems. Now, they do, as a note, they do seem to be when they went into the meeting, they were probably thinking they were going to get more than they did. So there was some misguided optimism at that point. When we look at Modi, what happens with him is that, yeah, he was having some power struggles before he came into that summit. And that was typically with Trump. So we're seeing, power struggles. This was the Mars in conjunct Pluto, middle of the month in August. So again, it was the tariffs. Now, what we do have with him is Uranus conjuncting Sun, Mercury. And again, this is going to the innovation. Okay, they can really change. He can really make changes in the country and bring it forward. And this is towards the end of this year. 11/2 is it's going to happen. It was happening around 8/29. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of what he got from that summit was some alliances where they can maybe leverage off the technology that India has. Now let's take a look at the leader of China. A lot of Mars stuff in his, which is frankly a little concerning. And this was one of the reasons why I had wanted to start looking at the leaders of the countries again. He started off with Saturn square Mars. So in effect, just restricted, can't feel he can do much. And this is because of the tariffs. Again, it's Trump possibly putting him into a corner. We have Mars transits again, Neptune squaring Mars. But then we actually have a solar arc for next year, which is Pluto trining Mars. So hopefully this is a way that he can release some of that aggressiveness and actually put it into foundational aspirations for his country. But the problem there is we've got Neptune opposition Mars, which means too idealistic, too much of rose-colored glasses with what they can do. But again, the concern is that there's a lot of Mars in his chart, and I still haven't done Taiwan's chart, but this could indicate some issues coming up there. Next, we look at China. So when we look at China, what we're seeing is we've got 3/18 and 26, we've got Pluto in conjunct Uranus. So this is very destabilizing. We've got forces coming in to make change. Also at the same time, you've got Saturn square Uranus. So systems, the internal structural systems of the country, we're having disruption. But what's nice is in 26, the end of the year, we have Pluto trine Uranus. Again, this is being able to achieve a lot through innovation, which is good. Next, what we have is, well, actually, let me stop there for a minute and go back and just say, for Nicolas Maduro, is he in a power position? No, he's not. He's gonna try and keep what he has, and he may react to things that happen, but he's not in a power position where he's going to be going ahead and making overt actions. Same thing with Venezuela. Expect them to react if pressured, but they're more concentrated on the country itself. When we look at India, same thing. They're not confronting Trump. They're going to just try to work around him. And that's the same thing with Modi. So both the leader and the country are looking at what they can do without Trump. They're going to make their alliances, which they are already doing. If that doesn't worry Trump, it should worry him. On China and the leader, this can be an issue. There's Mars showing up. There's Pluto showing up. So this could be internal strife in the country. Again, if the tariffs are enough that they're not selling products in the United States, this is going to impact the economy, and it could make their populace very disgruntled, rebellious. So it bears watching. Now, I didn't go too far forward, so we'll come back probably in a little later time, probably after we do Taiwan's chart to see what's there. Now, we looked at the United States economy chart, and there's not much good there, as I noted and this was for 2026. We've got some down cycles, and when they come up, they're not coming up that much until the end of the year. So expect that, the tariffs and just in general, everything that Trump is doing is going to hit. So it's going to take a chunk out of the economy. going up to the election next year, we could have, in effect, that could end up being a small recession that we have. Next, let's take a look at Massey. He's got some, nice angles here. And he's a different type of GOP. He listens to his, own drummer, in fact. So if it aligns with his vision, he will go along with Trump. If it doesn't, he won't. He's got, around 1027, he's got Neptune trining Jupiter. So idealistic, he's going to go for what he believes in. We also have, for his re-election chances next year, he's got Jupiter conjunct Venus in his progression. And this is indicating that, this is really expanding his base of voters. Voters are going to like him. That's what Venus is. It's his community. It's his people. If you're a politician, it's your voters. It's the people you're trying to reach. It's the people you want to like you. And Jupiter conjunct Venus is going to make his voters like him. We also have Pluto conjunct Mars right around the beginning of, and that's in the solar arc, 11/2 of 2024. So in this case, confrontations, power struggle, aggression. I assume this is going to be with the Trump admin because he's not following their cue, but we don't know how that's going to end. But he's got a lot of, decent angles. He's got things like Jupiter trine Mars in beginning of December. So again, it seems like he's got courage to follow this through. He's not going to let them change his mind. So if someone can play to get the victim some justice, it might be him, surprisingly. Now let's take a look at Green when it comes to the victims of Epstein. I wish I could say more here. She has stood up. She's got Jupiter conjuncting Mars, which is at the end of this month. And that does mean that, she could have some action here that she does to help this. But I'm just seeing pressure to conform. And I'm seeing that, she's taking a gamble with what she's doing. And she knows that. She knows that if she doesn't please these people in the administration, she's going to lose voters. And that's what's going to happen. So next year, she can lose voters. So when we look at, let's see, the economy for next year, well, the United States is going to be a loser here. No power. When we look at Massey, he's got power. Amazingly, whether he follows through is something else. Green, I'm not seeing power in her chart. She's going to fold when the administration comes down on her. Now, let's look at Brazil. Brazil is a little complicated, as I tried to indicate in the video. Brazil and the ruler of the leader. The leader is actually someone Trump doesn't like because that leader was elected over one of Trump's friends, Bolsonaro. So Bolsonaro is really complicating this whole issue. Trump is trying to put his finger on the justice system in Brazil to have them judge Bolsonaro innocent of the charges of insurrection. Yeah, I know that. Why would Trump do that? Make someone innocent of those charges. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. The judges have gone against him, and the leader of the country, in effect, is saying, no, we're not listening to you. Trump has put tariffs on of 50%. And again, the country is not looking to bend to Trump. This is likely going to make Trump angrier, and he's probably going to put more pressure. And that's what I'm sort of seeing in the charts. So coming up, well, right now we've got, around the beginning of September here, Saturn conjuncting Pluto. Yeah. So what we've got is a lot of pressure here. Leadership tests on how the leadership can handle this. Moving up into the end of January, we've got Pluto square Mars. This is, it's typically something you might see if a country is being aggressed on or if they're being the aggressor towards another country. So this typically with Pluto and Mars, you might have military involved, escalations, confrontations, could be civil unrest. So this is one that I expected some flashpoint, and it could be earlier because they are having the trial for Bolsonaro, and it's expected to end next week. It could be that it happens earlier than the projection of the transit, or it could be that they do the trial and there's some time and they do some, appeals, and they don't get a verdict till, sometime in December, and then they have some unrest in January. So, and there's a lot of Saturn aspects. So again, authority type figures coming down here. So who has the power here? Believe it or not, I think Brazil does. Brazil is not moving. We'll have to see where it stands next week, but they're going to make their judgment on Bolsonaro, and they're not giving, at this point, an inch to Trump. So in this case, Trump is on the other side. He's a loser. He's losing power here. Brazil is gaining it. But next week could change everything. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great evening. Bye now.